What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you a video today to discuss a topic that I've had hundreds of you ask me about over the last week or so, and that is the current Neymar situation, his transfer from Barcelona to PSG that looks like, at this point at least, it's pretty much 100% going to happen. What's the motivation for this move? Does it have anything to do with his current Nike endorsement deal? And what's my opinion on the matter in general? That's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. Just so you guys know, I have been sick for the last couple of days, so if I sound a little bit different than I normally do, or even if you're watching my video for the first time, I don't normally sound like this. I will get better in a couple days, I promise, but in the meantime, you're going to have to live with this very nasally voice. Please keep in mind as well that as I'm making this video, news just broke that La Liga has refused the 220 million euro transfer fee from PSG to Barcelona. There's not a whole lot of explanation beyond that information that I just gave as of right now, and it's entirely possible that this could completely eliminate this transfer from happening in the first place, but it does seem like this is something that will get resolved in the next day or two. So depending on when you're watching this video, the deal might not be done, the deal might be completely done. It really just depends on how this particular situation ends up working itself out. Let me start off by saying that I don't think Nike has anything to do with this transfer whatsoever. Obviously, Neymar is a major Nike endorsed athlete. He's probably their second most important one, only behind Cristiano Ronaldo, which, as I've talked about in the past on this channel, I think that Nike is setting up Neymar to be the successor to Cristiano Ronaldo as the face of their marketing for not only the football soccer department, but also for the Mercurial line. The fact that Neymar just got a signature colorway in the Mercurial line really does support this theory. And when you consider the fact that Neymar is 25, Cristiano Ronaldo is over 30 now, arguably past his prime or just at the end of his prime, depending on what your opinion is on him, I think it's without argument that Cristiano Ronaldo's career will end before Neymar's, and once Ronaldo's career ends, obviously they want a face for the Mercurial line, a face for the brand that is a player that's still in his prime, arguably going to be one of the best in the world, which I think once Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are done, Neymar is at the moment the logical best player in the world. At least that would be my argument. Your opinion might be a little bit different. So again, it makes a lot of sense for Neymar to eventually replace Cristiano Ronaldo as the main face of the Nike brand. So obviously he holds a lot of value for Nike. With that said, Barcelona as well as PSG are both Nike clubs, which is important because it does allow a brand like Nike to show Neymar in a Barcelona kit, to show Neymar in a PSG kit, which does matter a lot in terms of influencing your audience and getting maximum marketing potential out of a player, a big name like Neymar. If he were to play for Manchester United with an Adidas kit, it would complicate things a little bit. But the fact that PSG and Barcelona are both Nike clubs, I don't necessarily think that that matters all that much to Nike. Would they probably prefer him to be at Barcelona rather than PSG, given the popularity globally of a club like Barca? Probably, but again, I don't think it's going to hurt their bottom line too much. And when it comes to his playing for his country, Brazil, obviously they wear Nike kits as well. So whether it's club or country, he's wearing Nike, which I'm sure Nike is very, very happy about. The reason why Neymar's endorsement deal with Nike is so important to talk about in this situation is because of the money. The money that he makes from a Nike endorsement deal is very, very big. It's very important to him, I'm sure. But the rest of this whole situation revolves around money as well. So consider this, because I think a lot of people are just thinking, oh, he must not like Messi, or he must not like somebody at Barcelona, the coach, the management, whoever it might be, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. What a lot of people don't take into consideration with these professional footballers, these professional soccer players, is that they're professionals. What does that actually mean? Not that they're just really, really good at the game, but they do it professionally. This is their job. They don't do anything else. They play the game to make money. So considering that you are a professional athlete making money from playing, you obviously want to make as much money as possible. Anybody would want that. And considering that you are a professional athlete, and you can really only be a professional from 16 if you're really, really good, up until, let's say, 35, 36, maybe 38 if you're absolutely a freak of nature, then you only have a pretty short window to make all of your money, because for the rest of your life, yeah, the endorsement deals will follow. Your fame isn't necessarily something that's going to go away, but the cut in pay that you're going to get once you retire is going to be pretty significant, unless you're Michael Jordan or somebody like that, which, no offense to Neymar, I don't think he's going to make Michael Jordan money post-playing career, but it's something that a lot of people don't necessarily take into consideration, is that these guys only have a short period of time to make their money. And it's not just a matter of making money to survive, because obviously Neymar, with his salary right now, playing for Barcelona, what he's been making for the last several years is more than enough in terms of what he needs to live very, very comfortably. But if someone were to come up to you and say, hey, you know that crazy amount of money you're making right now? We'll offer you double if you come play for our club. And that's basically the situation with his transfer to PSG. I don't necessarily think it's a case of he doesn't like Barcelona, because I really do think that Barcelona is probably the better situation if the ultimate goal is to win games, to win tournaments, to win the Champions League. Barcelona right now, I think, is a better team than PSG, even if they add Neymar. But because the money is so significant, how can you turn that down? So what's kind of confusing about this situation as well is the fact that just last summer around this time, Neymar extended his contract with Barcelona for another 5 years, meaning that he would stay at the club until 2021. So again, around this time last year, obviously Neymar was very happy with Barcelona, very happy with his situation, so much so that he extended his contract 5 more years. Obviously within that contract, renegotiating his pay, I'm sure he made more money after signing that, and all the other different perks of re-signing with the club. He made a lot of money from that particular deal. So when players sign these contract extensions, not only is there agreements for what the player is going to make, there's some protection for the clubs as well in terms of being able to keep their players. And in the case of Neymar, they put in place some pretty ridiculously high buyout clauses if another team were looking to buy Neymar away from Barcelona. So there were pre-agreed upon transfer fees within Neymar's contract that PSG is currently offering, which is why Neymar technically can leave as long as they're willing to pay that particular money. And it seems like he wants to leave. So within that 5-year contract, for the first year of his contract, which was last season, if someone wanted to buy Neymar away, it would cost them 200 million euros as a transfer fee just to buy him out of the club. For the second year, which is what we are on right now, the transfer fee is 222 million euros, which is currently what PSG is trying to pay. And for the remaining 3 years, the transfer fee goes up to 250 million euros, which is even more astonishing. Now consider this, the previous world record for a transfer fee was Paul Pogba from Juventus to Manchester United, which was 105 million euros. So the transfer fee that PSG is about to pay for Neymar is more than double the previous world record, which you can imagine that when this contract was made up just 1 year ago, Barcelona was thinking there's absolutely no way anyone's going to pay over 200 million euros for this guy. But unfortunately for them, somebody is willing to pay that, and that's one of the major motivations, I think, for Neymar to end up leaving this club, because obviously he's not getting that 222 million euros. That's going to Barcelona to buy other players to replace Neymar, which to a certain extent, as much as I realize Neymar is one of the best players in the world, I would think that with 222 million euros, $250 million euros, they could potentially buy enough players to replace the talent that Neymar brings to the club. But they obviously really want to keep him. The players seem to like him. There's a lot of motivation for Barcelona to try and keep Neymar, but it looks like they're going to have to go through with the deal anyways. So if Neymar is happy at Barcelona, and Barcelona is clearly very happy with Neymar, they want him to stay, why is he leaving? Well, let's circle back to the money situation, because I really think that is the big factor here in terms of why Neymar will end up at PSG. Well, obviously PSG is willing to pay the transfer fee, which is the first thing that kind of triggers this. And even if they did want to pay the transfer fee and Neymar didn't want to go, he wouldn't necessarily have to go. He still has to agree to the transfer. So why is he agreeing if he's happy with his current situation? Well, There's no talk about a signing bonus. I know it's probably something that is for sure going to happen, but there's no specific numbers that are out there, at least in terms of what I've seen. But I wouldn't be surprised that Neymar's signing bonus with PSG would be 30, 40, 50 million euros just for agreeing to come to PSG in the first place, which is a ridiculous amount of money for essentially doing very, very little, pretty much no work at all, let's say. You also have to consider that his wages, his salary when going from Barcelona to PSG would more than double. The number that's out there that I read is 520,000 euros a week playing for PSG, more than double his current Barcelona salary, which is a big deal. Again, consider you're making a ton of money. Neymar is making a lot of money right now, but if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I'll offer you more than double what you're currently making, even though your current figure is already ridiculous, that would still be really, really difficult to turn down, even though Neymar clearly does not need more money. You also have to consider as well why this deal came to fruition in the first place. Obviously, Neymar has agents. Obviously, Neymar has his father who's involved in, I guess, the agency and endorsement deal side of things as well. And apparently it's out there that the agents, Neymar's father, everybody involved in facilitating this deal, there's 38 million euros to be divided between all of them should this deal go through. So there is definitely a lot of motivation for the people representing Neymar as well, who probably put this deal together. You have to consider that these agents working for these major athletes, when the major athletes get big money, so do the agents. So they're very, very motivated to move these players around to make them as much money as possible, because the more money the players make, the more money the agents are going to make as well. So the agent doesn't necessarily care all that much what the best situation is going to be, because if he can tell his client, hey, you're going to make double, more than double the money if you go play here rather than where you're currently at, that amount of money is going to motivate a lot of people to make a move. And I think that is the major motivation here for Neymar. It's sad to say that money is the big deal here, but because of how much money it actually is, such a ridiculous amount, I don't necessarily blame the guy. So I want to end this video by asking you guys a question where you can actually vote your answer. So let's say that you were working at a job, you enjoyed your job, and you were making really, really good money. But one day, somebody came around and said, hey, we'll offer you more than double what you're currently making to do the same job at a slightly different place. You're still going to have pretty much the same treatment. It's going to be a similar situation for you, but you're going to make double the money. Would you take that job, yes or no? I'll leave a little pop-up poll in the corner of the screen, because I think that question really sums up the motivation for Neymar's transfer here. Yes, he's currently happy with his situation at Barcelona. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I don't think that at the bottom, deep down in his heart, that he necessarily wants to leave Barcelona, but because of how much money is on the table, it's just too much to turn down. And that's why ultimately I think he's going to be moving from Barcelona to PSG. Not really that surprising in my opinion. But again, vote in the corner of the screen. I'd be really, really curious to hear your answers to that particular question. So that's pretty much it for my thoughts on this particular issue. I really don't think it's a matter of better teams, better players, relationship issues at all. I really think that this whole transfer just comes down to money, and there being far too much of it for Neymar to say no. Let me know your thoughts on this situation though down below in the comments. As always, if you have any questions for me, leave them down below as well, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.